given that we are all deeply concerned by the actions of Hamas, which goes to the motivations of people, there have been concerns raised, which I've raised in estimates consistently, about funding to UNRWA and the syllabus that's used in schools. And that was raised last estimates, and I'd like to know what's occurred since then in terms of DFAT's own investigations into the revelations that we've seen from foreign partners about the extent of ideological indoctrination of racial hatred and violence by the syllabus, which has been facilitated by UNRWA.
Yes, Senator, in relation to UNRWA and the textbooks, we did follow up with UNRWA. I visited Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories in July and August of this year, and I met with the Deputy Special Coordinator for the United Nations. I met with UNRWA officials, including visiting an UNRWA school. We spoke about that issue. UNRWA is required to use host country curricula in its schools, so students can take state examinations and transition to host country schooling and tertiary education. But they also have significant controls in place. We discussed that in terms of all of the various due diligence measures that UNRWA takes to ensure. I mean, they employ over 30,000 people, so there may well be, unfortunately, a few people who may use the opportunity to unfortunately engage in anti-Semitism or in incitement, but I was assured, and we have also taken out undertaken a strategic review into our aid funding, and there's a preliminary report that we're in the middle of receiving at the moment. I also note, Senator, that the European Parliament directed criticism towards the Palestinian Authority in April of this year in relation to incitement textbooks, but not UNRWA. The resolution by the EU Parliament specifically commended UNRWA in terms of its adherence to UNESCO standards and the critical role that it plays in providing education to Palestinian children. So we have, and we do have, significant control measures in place in what we do in terms of our funding to UNRWA. But the leadership of UNRWA has assured us that they're doing everything they can, and there's constant monitoring and checking to ensure that incitement that has happened in the past will never happen again.
So, Mr. Jadawat, my question is, how can we make that statement in the light of a number of international reviews that highlight that this is not a few bad eggs? There's fairly widespread endorsement that's been picked up through comments, things that have been said on social media by staff, etc. But more to the point, if the system in place says that UNRWA is constrained to use the textbooks of the host country, and those textbooks incite violence and racial hatred, then why would Australia be funding a process, albeit through an intermediary, UNRWA, that facilitates that inculcation into children?
Well, Senator, UNRWA, yes, they are required to use host country curricula, but they also have reviews of the educational material on a regular basis, and they provide training to teachers to ensure that material is presented to students in a manner that's consistent with UN values, and that includes omitting any offending content where appropriate. So that is what they have assured us that they do on a regular basis. And in terms of UNRWA itself, they're the only UN body with the mandate to provide relief and social services to Palestinian refugees in Gaza, the West Bank and neighbouring countries. And they remain indispensable until there's a durable solution to the refugee problem. If they were not operating there, they would create a vacuum, and that vacuum, unfortunately, would be filled by extremists, including by Hamas.